It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax Primetime.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Jacksonville Jaguars starting quarterback and a guy who knows what it's like to go viral. Gardner Minshew channeling his inner Tiger King for this Jaguar King Photoshop. A simple caption of, "Here, kitty, kitty." The question is, which is more entertaining, the Netflix sensation or the Mississippi mustache? I will let you decide on that one. Welcome into Action Sports Jax Primetime. Another week of building the roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars as we take a look at the free agent class. Of course, Joe Schobert, Rodney Gunter, both of those guys from week one, along with Darqueze Dennard, or so we thought. The former Bengal was supposed to be in Jacksonville fighting for a starting outside corner spot, despite his history as a slot cover guy. Remember, the Jags have one of those, and DJ Hayden, who's a fabulous nickel player. A 3-year deal for over $13 million suddenly goes poof and gone. The team releasing a statement this week saying that the two sides could not come to an agreement on the final contract terms. So, bye-bye Dennard, in a move that you have to wonder what went wrong, and does it have anything to do with the odd circumstances surrounding this year's free agency? All those physicals, in-person meetings, all of that gone as social distancing takes a precedence. Regardless, time to move on without Dennard for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They would do just that by agreeing to terms with 4 more new players. Defensive tackle Al Woods, one of them. Some more size in the middle. Certainly going to help combat that rush defense deficiency from 1 year ago. Woods, 33 years old, only here on a 1-year deal for $2.75 million. Hopefully he can provide a little veteran insight and leadership in that locker room. And speaking of the defensive line, this guy might contribute to that, or he might be a linebacker. Cassius Marsh has played both positions in his career, though pass rusher may be a better title to give the 6-year NFL vet who's now playing on his 5th team. Over the last 2 seasons with Arizona and San Francisco combined, Marsh has accounted for 8 sacks. But perhaps the coolest nugget when it comes to Marsh, how about the legacy? His dad, Curtis Marsh Sr., was a member of the inaugural Jaguars team drafted in 1995 in the 7th round. Now, he'd only stick around in Jacksonville for the 95 and 96 seasons, but it is certainly a cool connection nonetheless. So, we mentioned earlier the Jags lose one cornerback free agent with Dennard, but they gain another in Rashaan Melvin off the Lions roster. Another 1-year kind of prove-it guy with a deal for $2.25 million. Melvin had his best season back in 2017 playing in the AFC South, recording 3 interceptions for the Colts. But here is the guy that everyone's going to be talking about. Yes, Schobert has the most expensive deal, but a middle linebacker not quite as fun to talk about as a tight end, especially one with a Pro Bowl appearance on his resume. The problem is injuries are also on Tyler Eifert's resume, and we do mean a lot of injuries. If you want to look at the bright side of things, this past year was the first season where Eifert played all 16 games for the Bengals. He would score 3 touchdowns, average over 10 a catch. But the year everyone will look at and marvel would be 2015, when Eifert scored 13 times in 13 games. Quick math. That's 1 touchdown a game, folks, earning him that Pro Bowl nod, which he then got hurt playing in the Pro Bowl. See these pros and cons here. So which Eifert are the Jaguars going to get? The good news, well, he's not coming off an injury this offseason, which he showed on social media by posting a picture at the famed 17th hole this week. So Eifert is in town, taking advantage of everything Northeast Florida has to offer with a little social distancing on the stadium course. No word on if that tee shot remained dry. If it was me, it would not. In addition to the new players on the roster, the team making it official this week that they re-signed a few guys who wore teal and black a season ago. Terry Godwin, the former Georgia Bulldog, returns after spending most of 2019 on the practice squad. Laurenti McCray was the special teams captain, the Gator back for another year in Jax. And Tyler Shatley has no part in the Florida-Georgia rivalry, but he too returns for his 34th season as a reserve offensive lineman on the Jags. Actually, I think it's 7. Feels like it's been 34. One 2019 player not back for another year, Cedric Ogbuehi, who makes it a one and done. He was brought in as an insurance policy at the tackle position. He did see the field a bit last fall, but is headed to Seattle for the upcoming season. With free agency just about wrapped up, the Jaguars can now turn their attention to the draft, and what will certainly be a unique year for evaluation.
Might we find in this process, Bucky, that they don't need as much time or as much information to be able to pull off a good draft?
Yeah, I think there's something to that. Brian, I've always been a believer that if the draft was held closer to the end of the college football regular season, as opposed to where it currently is held, the draft would look a little different because you wouldn't be influenced by a lot of stuff that's not necessarily football related. You wouldn't be as impacted by the combine and workouts and seeing guys run around in shirts and shorts.
For more of the Jaguars.com interview with Bucky Brooks from the NFL Network, go check out Jaguars.com or any of the Jags social media channels. The big question in the next 4 weeks is going to be who are the Jaguars drafting in the first round. It'll be a little different feeling this year. They have 2 picks in the first round, at least for now. Remember, those things can be used as bargaining chips, so we'll see what happens there. Let's see some options on who the Jaguars take as the fans decide to chip in on Twitter, as they often like to do. How about Matt, who says, trade up for Chase Young? Why not? Dave's not going to have the picks in 21 anyways. All right, that's a little pessimistic, but you know what? Matt is usually pessimistic, and it's Twitter, so we'll let it go, right? Dylan goes with A.J. Ipanema. That's the Iowa defensive end, not to be confused with the beach in Rio de Janeiro where a girl is from. That one's Ipanema. Different, 2 different things. Ty, doing a little bit of math. It's really hard to figure out what the Jaguars are going to do in the draft, so that's important. I always like that gif. It's a good one. Josh is convinced that based on the free agent moves, they're definitely taking a cornerback. Okudah, the pick. Well, the last time the Jags took a corner so high it worked, sort of, depending on how you look at the Ramsey pick. Did that work? TBD. I don't know. He was good on the field, not in the locker room. And Drew, providing his tiers on picks, really put a lot of thought into this thing. He went corner, linebacker, D-tackle, O-line, receiver, back to O-line, back to DT. Wow, Okudah, though, his #1 guy, and a name that certainly pops up a lot.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select
Martinez from the pocket, off the hands of Robinson, and Okudah's got his second pick tonight.
Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio State is the 2020 version of Jalen Ramsey, at least on the field. At 6'1", 205 pounds, Okudah has that rangy size scouts love, but he can close with the best of them, running a 40 in 4.48 seconds. Terms like well-refined.
Takes a deep shot downfield, looking for Ross. Okudah, no way.
Deliberate tackler who comes downhill.
He will come and saw you off. He is not scared from contact.
And otherworldly foot quickness are used when describing this athlete. Okudah will probably be gone before 9, but there are some scenarios that see him fall like Josh Allen did one season ago.
Wish I had otherworldly foot quickness. Speaking of the NFL draft, Roger Goodell confirming it's going to be a full go for April 23rd through the 25th, though a little different look, obviously, with the digital presence. The more striking part of Goodell's statement this week was criticism of the NFL's approach by its member teams will not be tolerated. Goodell kind of laying down the hammer a little bit, letting everyone know, hey, get in line and don't criticize what the NFL is doing moving forward. Do with that what you may.
Let's keep on giving these dogs the forever home that they need while we're all staying home right now.
And say hey to Jags kicker Josh Lambo, helping get shelter dogs adopted in this time of social distancing. He is paying half of adoption fees and covering dog food for the first 6 months to get those pups into some new homes.
Action Sports Jax Primetime, Saturday at 10:30 on Fox 30.